folks, welcome back. I am here with you again. The Renegade is back for another rant. I'm here tonight with you as we find ourselves in the post-apocalypse that is public education. And tonight I want to talk about conspiracy theories with you. This is a topic that has come up in the show, but I've never really focused on it in any significant way. And while I have so much to say about this topic, I'm going to try to funnel it into somewhat of a concise message for you, and hopefully we can accomplish some positive in this complete disaster that is the mainstreaming of conspiracy theories. And I am no stranger, as a former conspiracy theorist on things like 9/11 and things like that. Back before I attained somewhat of a grasp on reality, I come to you with some expertise on the subject, and I just need to remind everyone that conspiracy theories have been a thing for as long as there's ever been any type of government or politics or large institutions, and people have found reasons to formulate conspiracy theories that attempt to explain events that take place relating to them. And it doesn't matter if the conspiracy theory is as something as contemporary as the Earth being flat, or something like NASA never having even pulled off a moon landing, or whether or not something like 9/11 was a quote unquote inside job. It doesn't matter if it's the condensation trails from aircraft supposedly being laced with some deadly chemicals to depopulate the planet. It doesn't matter which one you're looking at, folks. All conspiracy theories have a set of common characteristics, and they are anything but a theory. And again, right now in the world, we have these unbelievable viral conspiracy theories about people in this quote-unquote deep state, this completely fictional narrative that are supposedly eating babies and worshiping the devil and doing all of these completely insane things. I need to continue here and be clear. That a conspiracy theory has a definition. Obviously, it'll be a little different depending on where you look. But basically, you're looking at an attempt to explain something that uses unrealistic complexity to assign some type of sinister or evil agenda to some otherwise benign or innocent set of events. And since a scientific theory is actually a set of explanations that can be tested and repeatedly verified, the term theory is among the most dangerous misnomers. It's completely inaccurate to call any of these things a theory, but again, society has yet to provide the lexicon with a better term for these wacky claims. And again, they do not deserve the term of a theory. And I need to tell you that the most common and recognizable characteristics of a conspiracy theory is a situation in which any counter argument or any evidence that is presented to disprove it is accused of being part of the conspiracy itself. This is something known as circular thinking, or it's an example of it, and it's just absolutely frustrating to sit by and watch the world be consumed by the viral nature. Again, with social media now fueling exponentially the velocity with which these conspiracy theories can penetrate through society. It is absolutely driving me insane. And no matter what, no matter what the counter argument is that's presented against it, with a conspiracy theory, that counter argument is always attributed to being part of the conspiracy itself. That there's some massive cover-up, and I'll say this as well. Another characteristic of conspiracy theories is that the believer has far too much confidence in their own ability to connect the dots, and not enough confidence in the rest of the world to do the same thing. And if you stop and think about it, what are the odds that you or your small clade of people in this echo chamber, perhaps on social media, are the only ones that are able to put it together and expose the conspiracy? And again, sometimes it's almost a pathological situation where, and a lot of experts will tell you that an individual believing in one conspiracy theory makes them extremely more likely to believe in other ones as well. It's a type of fantastical or fantasy-prone thinking. It's very dangerous, and honestly, it can pose threats to people's health if it's not checked with reality. And the big crux of this is that conspiracy theories almost always require some unrealistic number of people to be involved in order for the conspiracy to not be exposed to the outside world. And when you're evaluating a claim, when you run across these crazy things on the internet, always be willing to ask yourself, how many people would need to be involved in maintaining secrecy about this conspiracy? And would any of those individuals be able to gain major recognition or fame by exposing that secret? And again, a conspiracy theorist would likely dismiss that by saying that anyone who attempts to speak up would be silenced, threatened, or killed by the conspirators at the top of the conspiracy. But yet again, that is circular thinking. That's an example of the first characteristic that we brought up. And all of this is a massive, all of this type of thinking fails to employ one of the most basic problem-solving principles that should be taught in school from an early age, known as Occam's razor. And it's basically a problem-solving principle named after an English philosopher. And in its most basic interpretation, it simply means that the most simple explanation for something is likely the correct one. And Occam's razor has applications all over the place in our everyday lives and in science and all kinds of things. But applying it to the situation we see now, we see these millions of people who have become brainwashed, and they believe that the public health crisis is all fake, and it's all being overblown for political reasons. And if you employ Occam's razor to thinking about the two possibilities, on one hand, you have some deep state global cabal of some crime syndicate level corruption that is able to not only force all experts into line with pushing a false narrative and exaggerating the health risks of the virus, and none of those people, none of those hundreds of thousands or even millions of experts that actually have valid experience and who could seek, witness protection type protection. Sorry, my vocabulary is limited at times, but my point is that's the one possibility, that there's this massive conspiracy that no one is blowing the whistle on, and it's all being kept under the wraps so that we can subvert the rights of people in order to push a political agenda. And on the other hand, the other possibility, and again, I don't want to create a false dichotomy because it doesn't always have to be between two choices. But in the most basic terms, the other possibility is that the world was caught with its pants down, not prepared for something that we have known a long time ago that would eventually happen. We failed to prepare for it, and now we are facing the consequences of that. And multiple wrongs do not make a right. So there's really no good way out of this this public health crisis that is the pandemic. And that second possibility, if you look at it, is simply the one that passes Occam's razor. There is no vast conspiracy covering up some false. Folks, it is real. The health crisis is real. Millions of people are dead because of it. And I know that's scary. I know that that's hard to accept. But it's real. And I'll go on to say here, I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, folks, with the whole conspiracy theory thing, because if you're following me, if you're not already brainwashed by one of these crazy claims, then you're probably already going to be okay. You have enough critical thinking skills to work your way through it. But I don't want to discourage you from being skeptical. Always be willing to question. Always be willing to question what is happening and the status quo and what people are believing. That's a good, healthy thing to do. But what's unhealthy is when you subscribe to some tunnel vision, circular thinking, pathological level, where you're not even asking the question, how many people would it take, folks, to keep it all under the wraps? And you know, science and public opinion are often, or should be, dictated through consensus of experts who have experience in the field in question. And this may be the most important aspect of what has brought the modern world to us. And it is definitely a pillar on which things like double-blind, peer-reviewed, placebo-controlled trials are based on, and research that is valid. And I'll just bridge into, and I guess I should remind you too here, just to wrap up the idea with conspiracy theories, that it's never a good idea to try to bully or embarrass someone in the moment or in a debate. To change their mind on something. It's embarrassing to have bought into some crazy conspiracy theory and have someone just blast you out of the water with, dozens of points that you simply do not have a way out of. You don't have a way of counter-arguing it without using some ridiculous circular thinking strategy. Just plant the seed, sow the doubt in their mind, and pray that it will grow into a tree of critical thinking. And it's simply the best to remind them that what they believe may not be true, and give them some reasons why, and walk away. Because it's very hard to change someone, or to at least have them admit that they're wrong in the moment. And I'll go on here because, folks, really the point of me bringing all of this up is that conspiracy theories are now mainstream. We have a huge amount of the population either stuck at home or recently having been stuck at home for months. Scared to death people, vegging out on social media, these echo chambers, looking for easy ways to make sense of the madness. And to justify their defiance of the recommendations made by the consensus of experts. And this has all led to the largest reckoning on the lack of scientific literacy in the history of the world. We are currently watching this happen and unfold on a daily basis. You've got these millions of people believing that Hillary Clinton is eating babies, and that the some deep state, some fake cabal of criminals at the very top is somehow a bunch of devil-worshipping lizards. Folks, I'm not making it up. These people believe these things. They have absolutely no critical thinking skills. And at the same time, we have teachers right now resigning in droves across the country. Literally, as I record this, entire departments, entire swaths of school districts. We have teachers that are walking out of the shit show already. And as we predicted on this channel, the largest walkout of public servants in the history of the country is underway right now, and it is speeding up by the hour. And I want to say this too: the economy is completely fake. In terms of the stock market, this false positivity in the stock market, we have a situation where the Federal Reserve and the central banks are in cahoots with each other. They are colluding to print trillions of digital dollars to keep the stock market bubble inflated, to inject insane, face-melting levels of liquidity, just printing, again, trillions of dollars that do not exist, and inflating our currency, decreasing the purchasing power of the dollar, as they themselves, the true cabal of criminals, who are the ultra-rich, the people that have seized control of Congress, and again, the Federal Reserve, the central banks, and they are walking out the door with all of the hard assets. And if you believe the stock market is up, then you yourself exemplify why the plan of these ultra-rich is working and will continue to work. What you may not have come to understand yet is that the value of things like stocks and precious metals is not increasing. You see the prices go up, but on the contrary, as trillions of dollars are being printed with a few clicks of a mouse, the value of everyone's dollars is falling through the floor, which causes the assets to be worth more of those less valuable dollars. And again, those dollars have less value, making the true value of the assets either stay the same or decrease. Stay the same being a best case scenario. So what you see is the ultra rich buying up all the assets, inflating them by printing more money. It's a racketeering scheme from the top. This is the actual conspiracy. And it is not a conspiracy theory, because it is right in the open. Since 1971, we came off the gold standard. The country has been bankrupt ever since, and the pandemic has simply sped up the process of bringing it to a lot more people's attention. Holding dollars, holding cash is the worst thing anyone can do beyond a rainy day fund, because the value of those dollars is guaranteed to decrease. And this is why it is expensive to be poor. That saying has a lot of truth, folks. And I want to end the night with a personal story. I want to kind of reel it back in here. I'm not an economist. I am a recently resigned 7-year veteran high school teacher, but I want to give you a personal story. Our children, we have 2 in school. Our children were given the choice of 100% online school or a hybrid model of 2 days at school, 3 days online each week. And we were fortunate enough and wise enough to choose to be able to choose the 100% online model. And the first thing, folks, the very first thing that our children were required to do was go to the school for an entire day of in-person testing. And while yes, while yes, face masks were required, quote unquote required, and social distancing was utilized, what does my third grade daughter tell me that the teachers did throughout the day? What could be the thing that makes the most sense that the teachers did throughout the day? Folks, prepare for this. They actually had sanctioned mask breaks where they had all of the students remove their masks at the same time to quote unquote get some air. What in the hell is the point of wearing a you know what, folks, never mind. This is right here is honestly enough. Folks, the mask breaks on testing day for online school is honestly enough to make me want to undergo a skin tone altering surgery, rendering myself approximately 40% darker, and abruptly changing my name to Geraldo de la Cruz, and to start a daytime televangelist program on which I claim to have the power of Jesus Christ in the palm of my hand. But instead of pretending to heal people, I would instead employ very aged and tired sleight of hand maneuvers to do things like make a coin disappear, and to make two pieces of rope appear to combine into one, and when confronted by viewers and donors as to the falseness of my miracles, I would simply respond, ¿Qué puta madre sabes de mis poderes que me dio el bendito Señor? Jódete, púdrete y avísame si quieres inyectarte con heroína en la noche, porque mi novia Patricia tiene buena mierda, güey. I'm done, folks. I need a blood pressure cuff and a mask break. This is Renegade Teacher signing off.